Hi, I'm Jason from Gall Sewing and Vacuum Centers, and I want to talk to you about stitch regulation with your long arm quilting machines. We know stitch regulation is important, especially when we're beginners, where when we move, we want that stitch to be consistent. We're already worried enough about where we're going. We don't want to worry about how fast we're going. So letting the machine control it is very important. And there's two main types of stitch regulation. And every machine may label them slightly different, but there's precision and there's cruise. And you may wonder when you use one or the other. So precision stitch regulation is when you turn the machine on and nothing happens. You move, the machine will move. You stop, it stops. That's great for a beginner who's getting used to where they're going and what they're doing, but it's also really nice for someone doing ruler work, because now when you're running along that ruler, you'll stop, turn your ruler, continue on, stop, turn your ruler, continue, and then you're not going to sit there and continue to stitch in place. So precision stopping when you stop is a nice way to quilt a lot. But cruise is also very important to have. Cruise is what there only was 10, 15 years ago when stitch regulators came out. And what it means is when you turn the machine on, the machine's needle immediately starts going. Now it's going at a slow pace, and then when you take off moving, it's going to keep your stitches even. When you stop, the needle's going to continue to move. And if you let it sit there, it will either tie a knot or it could break your thread. And so people sometimes shy away from cruise. But it's important to understand why cruise is so important. Because when you're quilting and you're coming around a corner and you go into a point and you come out of a point, if you're in precision and that needle stops in the up position, it doesn't drop that needle and tack that point. So with cruise, I can come in, I can tack that point, I can come back out. You'll get very crisp, very clean points. Now another reason that cruise is nice, and some machines even have the ability to control the speed of the cruise, so you can speed it up or slow it down depending on the type of movement you're doing. So when you're in stitch regulation and you have it in cruise mode and you have the cruise set maybe at 25%, or you have it a little bit higher of a speed, what can happen is you can be doing some meandering, and then all of a sudden you get to a small area and you want to do some stippling, little micro stippling, you want to do some pebbling. Well, if you have a stitch regulator on for doing small little pebbling, what ends up happening is your pebbles are square and boxy. They're not smooth and round. So when you have it into the cruise mode, it will transition between your regulation into the cruise for that purpose. So you can be using the stitch regulator, everything's great. You get into that small area, now I can have the machine slow down. It turns to speed control. I can have beautiful round little curves, little micro stippling, little pebbling, come right back out and be perfectly stitch regulated again. So again, two types of stitch regulation. They're both important to be able to use. And so again, if you have questions, see Gall Sewing and Vacuum Centers for all your long arm needs.